We're here at the RAI, at the Integrated System Europe, and I'm talking here to with Michael Blackman, and he's the managing director of the show. What are the big trends in 2017, which everybody should see at this show at the RAI?
So the biggest things you'll see here, which are new, immersive technology. So we have an immersive zone, so you'll see how you can actually really immerse yourself in virtual environments.
Okay, so augmented reality, virtual reality, but in the business-to-business environment, not only the gaming.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're talking about immersive, we have in terms of home theater and this sector, we have immersive sound. So you want to actually hear perfect Dolby Atmos systems that really engross you in the middle of a film and all senses that you'll see here as well.
Then if you look at the digital signage, the outside world, which is basically going to have more and more screens, bigger, brighter screens, we see a lot of that here. What are the trends there?
Well, again, you're seeing much lighter, they're much cheaper, lot more inexpensive screens. Quality's higher. In fact, you go in the entrance here by Hall, the Europa Hall, and you will actually see one of the largest LED screens in Europe. That's a screen of about 100 square meters in 4K. So absolute perfect quality, huge formats. You'll see a lot of that around the show. And
I saw a 500-inch screen. 500. You can just buy them by the square meter. You know, it's 20,000 euro per square meter. You can make them as big as you, and it looks perfect.
Well, my unfortunately, my living room's not big enough for something like that yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, I also saw. I know that screens are not the most important thing because they're just the output, but the OLED is really big here. You really see them bend in all kinds of shapes and ways, and it's really beautiful, and it's coming.
Yeah, this is a trend as well. And can you imagine what difference that's going to make to retail environments? You go into stores or the front of stores, the interior of stores, being able to do things like that allows creativity. Architects love it. Interior designers love it because it gives them so much more flexibility and possibilities for what they can create.
Yeah. You poor consumer, when you come to a retail store now 2 years from now where you see this technology, you don't have a chance. You'll just basically be a zombie and buying everything. So, but it will be also be customized, right? I mean, it will know who I am, and it basically.
Well, these are trends in digital signage. You have systems that will actually recognize. The first thing it will do is say, well, that's a man. He's approximately 40 to 50 years old, and he has blue eyes, based on those demographics, they'll actually be able to actually throw ideas to you. It gets worse because they actually have the possibility to pick up your Facebook profile as well and say and identify who you are and look at your trends. This is what the future.
It's Minority Report is coming closer in the RAI to you.
Well, that you can see as well. We have a company here, and they actually designed the system in the film Minority Report. So all that gesture toucher that you see in that film, they're actually here. Oblong and John, I've forgotten his surname now, the president of Oblong, he was actually MIT, and he designed that for the film and came up with the idea afterwards, well, I could actually make something sellable out of this.
That's great, because it's great. He gave a great TED Talk. If you talk TED Talk Minority, you have that stuff. Okay, so that is basically. How many people are coming to the show, Michael, this year?
Well, last year we had over 65,000. This year we anticipate in excess of 70,000. I know already that pre-registration has already reached that number, so we'll see what happens over the next 3 days. But certainly, we could be as many as 74,000 people coming in.
Yeah, and it's really intense, the contact between vendors and public, because you told me there were 55,000 people visiting the show, and how many people from the vendors?
So in the vendors, it's so out of that 70,000, 15,000 are the vendors.
So it's 1 out of 4. It's incredibly intense.
Well, they're putting a lot of staff in, and the big companies like Samsung and LG, they have hundreds of staff here because they've got big booths and they need to actually give the service. So they bring a lot of people in there, and we have over almost 1,200 exhibitors. So that's approximately 15 people per booth. Yeah.
So you have all these beautiful big screens, and LG and Samsung are very big. I also saw some really nice movies from LG, from Logitech, who basically showed all the new consumer stuff. Any more things we should visit?
Well, firstly, you're not seeing consumer stuff here. You're seeing stuff which is being used in a commercial environment or residential environment. So we are a business-to-business show. So the solutions you're seeing are being focused on actually bringing the business-to-business people, but they in turn are actually installing them or creating them for the consumers.
I would say. I mean, I saw smart buildings. I saw things with the drones around here, the education. These things will come to the people.
Absolutely, and some of the trends you see now, which are here, end up in the consumer hands as well, and vice versa. When you go to conference rooms or go into the retail environments, because the consumers want 4K TVs at home, it means the retail environments have to actually go to that level as well. So,
Tell me a little bit about the show. I mean, this show is huge. 70,000 is also for Amsterdam. That's pretty big, right? I mean, how did it end up here in Amsterdam? Because this show, how old is this show and how has it grown over the time?
this is the 14th event. We started off in Geneva in 2004. We then came to the Rye in 2005. Unfortunately, we couldn't come back in 2006. We wanted to, but it didn't work. But in 2007, we came back and made it our home. It works for us because, firstly, this morning the deputy mayor did our opening, and she pointed out a couple of very pertinent points. Amsterdam is a friendly city. English is the business language of this industry, and when you come here, you can speak English. The Dutch people are happy to speak English to the visitors, and it makes a big difference about being welcomed and feeling comfortable in the city.
So after 13 years, you're really part of the Amsterdam environment. Now, who owns this show and who are these companies behind it?
Okay. The show is owned by two international associations, and that's CEDIA and Infocom International. CEDIA represents the residential part of the AV industry. So for those people who are actually creating and installing, creating smart homes or home theater, anything to do with the residential market. And Infocom represents the commercial side, so to do with buildings and commercial environments. And these are the two largest AV associations in the world. And they came to me back in 2002 as the first approach to actually come and join them and help develop and build this show. And I haven't looked back.
And after 13 years, what are you going to do next?
We're going to grow in Amsterdam. We have plans. The Rye has been really behind us on helping us with this. We have ideas and plans of how we're going to develop further. All I can say is watch this space.
Okay. So, the International System Europe, and that's going until
Friday.
You can come here, you can see really everything. I mean, this is the greatest gadget place in the world for professionals who want to build solutions, and they're very impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.